The power of small acts, inspired by the parable of the yeast. In a quiet village nestled between rolling fields of wheat, there lived a young baker named Mara. She wasn't wealthy or famous. She didn't own the largest bakery, nor did she have the finest tools. But she carried something far more precious, a heart that believed in the power of small things. Every morning before dawn, Mara would light a small lantern in her kitchen. She carefully mixed her flour and water, gently kneaded the dough, and then added just a tiny pinch of yeast. To most people, it seemed almost insignificant, but Mara knew that it was this little ingredient that gave the bread its life. She would cover the dough with a cloth and wait. And as the first rays of sunlight touched the rooftops, the dough would begin to rise, expanding and softening. From something small and still came something abundant and warm. The aroma would drift through the village streets, drawing neighbors to her door. What many didn't know was that Mara's bakery wasn't just a place for bread, it was a place of quiet kindness. Each day, she set aside a small loaf for someone in need. Sometimes it was for an elderly man who lived alone. Sometimes it was for a tired farmer returning from the fields. She never asked for anything in return. To her, these little acts were as natural as breathing. Weeks turned into months, and something began to change in the village. People started to mirror Mara's kindness. One neighbor began leaving fresh milk on the widow's porch. A young boy started sweeping the streets every morning. A carpenter began repairing broken fences for free. Little by little, like yeast working through dough, the kindness spread quietly, not loudly or forcefully, but steadily, changing the texture of the community. One evening, a traveler passing through the village asked Mara, "How did this place become so warm, so generous, so alive?" She simply smiled, wiped the flour from her hands, and said, "It started with something small, just like yeast in bread." Mara had never given a grand speech, never built a monument, never commanded anyone to be kind. But her small, daily actions became a seed of transformation. They reminded everyone that greatness isn't always found in grand gestures. It often begins with simple, quiet acts of love. As the village thrived, people began to see how their tiny contributions carried ripple effects. A loaf of bread warmed a heart. A repaired fence lifted a burden. A kind word brought someone back from despair. Just as yeast spreads unseen through dough, love, and kindness, works silently but powerfully through communities. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of small acts. A single seed of kindness can bloom into a garden of hope. A gentle word can heal. A simple gesture can inspire others to do the same. Just as a little yeast makes the dough rise, even your smallest actions can transform the world around you. Today, do something small, but do it with love. Hold the door for someone, speak a kind word, give without expecting anything in return. You may not see it immediately, but your act has the power to rise and multiply, shaping lives in ways you may never fully know. If this story touched your heart, give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who could use a little encouragement, and subscribe to Wise Words for more timeless stories that inspire change one act at a time. Small acts can spark great transformations. Be the yeast that helps the world rise.